Welcome to Lead Different.
You're not going to like Kristen and Eric Jackwin. You're going to love them. And after this conversation, you're going to understand why. I recently sat down with Kristen and Eric, two Florida attorneys married to each other, leading together, and doing it with a level of love and respect that honestly oozes out of them. Kristen is Catholic, Eric is Jewish. They have different faith traditions, but deeply shared values. What impressed me most wasn't just how well they work together at Jackwin Legal or how they serve and lead other attorneys through their mastermind community, Connect Esquire. It was how intentional they are. They use real tools. They communicate on purpose. They protect their relationship at home and their alignment at work. You don't just hear about their love for each other, you feel it. And that respect shows up in their marriage, their leadership, and the culture they create for their team. If you're a leader navigating differences, faith, perspective, personality, and you want to see what's possible when respect comes first, you're going to want to hear this conversation. Watch the full episode and let me know in the comments, what do you think makes partnerships truly work? Shared beliefs or shared values? Because at the end of the day, leading different isn't about avoiding differences. It's about learning how to honor them, leverage them, and lead with intention. Enjoy the interview.
Why not leadership? Why not lead different?
Welcome to Lead Different, the podcast that redefines leadership and challenges the status quo. Hosted by Daniel Dominguez, founder and CEO of Why Not Leadership. This show is your compass to becoming a better leader through the power of self-awareness. Good leaders foster teams that are engaged, empowered, and energized. Join us on this transformative journey as we equip you with the tools and insights to lead different. Get ready to challenge the ordinary and embrace self-aware leadership. This is Lead Different.
Subscribe now. Discover a new era of leadership. Lead different, because great leaders change the world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lead Different podcast. I have an amazing couple of guests for you today. I've known them for a few years, and they are making a difference in the state of Florida, in the legal community, and in the coaching community. The first of those guests is Eric Jackwin and Kristen. They are the leadership team behind Jackwin Legal, PA. They bring a powerful combination of transactional strategy and courtroom defense to their legal practice. Eric is a Florida attorney, entrepreneur, and real estate investor who is serving as managing attorney and transactional practice group leader. He advises business owners, investors, and high net worth individuals on business formation, real estate transactions, asset protection, and legacy planning, combining legal strategy with real world ownership experience. Kristen, on the other hand, is a seasoned criminal defense attorney and co-founder of Connect Esquire. She leads the firm's criminal defense division and is known for high-stakes advocacy in state and federal courts across Florida. Both Kristen and Eric are super lawyers, rising stars. Kristen has represented high-profile clients at both the investigatory and trial levels and remains as an active leader in the legal community, including as a founding member of the Miami-Dade chapter of the Nova Southeastern University Shepherd Broad College of Law Alumni Association. Together, Eric and Kristen offer a comprehensive view of building, protecting, and defending businesses and individuals before challenges arise and when the stakes are high. So without further ado, let me welcome to the stage Kristen and Eric. How are you guys doing today, guys?
We're feeling great. You know, it's another day in paradise. I actually have a busy day ahead of me. And today we're all about giving back. So we're actually giving back to the homeless children of Chapman Partnership. That's why I'm in my festive clothes that I like to wear for the kiddos. So I'll be down in Miami delivering toys later this afternoon to the homeless children of Chapman Partnership. So it's been a busy holiday season, and we're looking forward to, finishing the end of 2025 strong.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for bringing that up. So tell us about that charity that you guys are going to be working with today, because I do know, so I've known you for a few years. I'm so blessed to have met you at Action Coach a few years ago. But Eric and Kristen, you guys are about giving back. Your YOS, the one thing you do have in common is you both want to contribute and make a difference. So What you mentioned you're going to be giving toys to the homeless children at the charity. How many children are there? Tell us a little bit about your involvement as a law firm with them.
Well, how many years have you been doing this? It's been a while, so.
Yeah, so I actually had a client who ended up living there. That's how this all started. Unfortunately, that client was living with her sister at the time, and her sister was helping support her financially and paid for her legal fees for her criminal case. And the sister's boyfriend didn't want her living there anymore and kicked her out. And so she
Right.
ended up going to Chapman Partnership, which is a homeless shelter that houses about 200 children between their downtown location and Homestead location. And my dad, I grew up feeding the homeless, so we would go every Sunday, and we would go to downtown Miami and literally on the streets. And then they actually made that illegal. You're no longer in Miami able, actually in Broward County, you're no longer able to feed homeless people who are living on the streets. So our client said you should come here because the food isn't the best, and they would really appreciate it. And I thought, I want to do something more. And I always wanted to give back, especially during the holiday season, to these children who don't have anything.
Right.
And so in 2018 was when we started doing it, and it's been a tradition that I've been doing since then. Obviously, we didn't do it during COVID, but so we give to about 200 children every single year. We do a pizza party for them, and then we also do a little ornament station so that they can make ornaments as well with families to make the holidays a little brighter for them.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Our car's already packed, and I have a big SUV, so it's been just really exciting. Every single time that we've come home, another Amazon package has been delivered to our house, and our neighbors must think like we're going crazy this year for the holiday season. Yeah. But
they can't wait to get their gifts, right?
Yeah, it's all for the kids in Chapman. So we shout out to everybody who's contributed and supported
Absolutely.
us this year, because it's just it's been really outstanding to see all of the support that we've gotten from a lot of family, friends, and colleagues, and people in the legal community. So thank you. You guys really made this a huge one.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without them. There's a lot of kids that need toys, and so we've already gotten, I think, 120, 130 toys. So that's helped a lot too, delivered directly to my house through our Amazon wish list. So it's helped.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, to not have to go, to every single store looking like a crazy person with hundreds
Right.
of toys in my cart. So
I love that. Well, and you mentioned something, Eric, that makes me think about that, because this is a time of the year when everybody it puts on their charitable hat and they're giving back. And you mentioned you have a big SUV, and that's such a great contrast, because if you have a big SUV, it's expensive, but it holds more toys, right? So you're using it. If you're using it, it's a good thing that you have a big SUV that you can pack it with lots of toys for lots of kids. And I know that people with the how or the what or the why or the what of contribute are always giving back. So I know both Eric and Kristen are people who give back. And, I mentioned in the introduction, we've known each other for a few years, and I just keep following you guys. One of the things that you guys are doing, and one of the ways that you're giving back, is through your coaching. So I was reading in the introduction, you guys are still a part of your coaching through Esquire, Connect Esquire. Tell us how that is going, because I want to connect. I want to make sure we connect the dots, how you're giving back as coaches to the legal community.
Yeah, so Connect Esquire was kind of like originally a different kind of concept and idea, and it's evolved over time a lot through a lot of the coaching that we've been through. We've been part of Action Coach for a long time, and we've had other coaches throughout, business strategists, that have helped us like build our business and help us get aligned. I know that we haven't gotten to this part of the podcast about our Interfaith, but I mean, this does tie into it a little bit, because we share a vision together. So our vision has evolved, it's transformed. She pushes me to get things done, because she's a lot quicker, simplify, get things done, cut the fat and just move on with things. And I'm as you said, mastery. So like, I want to know all the details. I want to have everything in front of me before we make a decision. So it's been a great equilibrium between us, because it's helped us to be able to align our goals and everything. And ultimately, we want to really empower attorneys to get out of the way of themselves. That's what we typically see, is that us as attorneys, we're legally trained. We're not generally have not gone to business school, don't really have the business concepts. And even if we did go to business school and maybe have that background and knowledge, the practice of law and the business of law is a little bit different than any other type of business. So it's important to share that with our community, things that have worked for us, things that haven't worked for us. As we've grown as a company, people attribute different revenues. And as we've climbed up the revenue stream, it's been fascinating to see the differences of like what worked at $250,000 in revenue to $500,000 in revenue to $750,000 and then above $1 million. So it's been very unique, and we get to do that together. So that's one of the really cool things, and we want to help other attorneys make those right decisions. One of the big things that I have really leaned into this year is wealth building and wealth creation. It's been a really big factor for us, because whether you agree or disagree with what may be coming or what's not coming as far as the economy, as far as AI, I know that AI is a very big topic and a hot topic.
Taking our jobs.
That's the thing. AI is taking all of our jobs. So, but the reality is that we are continuing to always have that conversation. We're leading that conversation together. Being educated is a huge component, and being able to share that knowledge with my wife, who is also my business partner and roommate.
Yeah.
But no, as a
roommate first, I guess.
But it's always been nice, because we are aligned and we're on the same page about everything in our lives. And what we ultimately want is for all the other attorneys that are in our network that have joined us as members, is to have the same love of between each other and the ability to grow a business and grow our empire together. So we are truly, truly lucky to have that, and we want that for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic. You brought up the simplify and the mastery. So that's one of the ways that we connected is you guys went through the YOS discovery, and we looked at that. And I remember looking at those results and thinking, oh my gosh, these two are so different, right? As you mentioned, Kristen wants to simplify and get it done. She wants the bottom line, whereas Eric is a mastery, and he wants to go deep and learn as much as he can. Kristen, you come at it from a better way perspective. So you want to make things better, improve on things in order to make them simple. Eric, you come at it from a make sense. Okay. So you learn things at a deep level, but you make sense of things. So that's a great combination that you don't tend to, because you have make sense, you don't get too bogged down in the information. And maybe when Kristen says, okay, I need an answer, you're much quicker able to say, okay, here's what makes sense to me. Let me get it down to something that you want to digest. Not that she can't digest it. She's an attorney also. She has the knowledge. She doesn't want all of that though. Hey, give me the bottom line, right? But also for you, Kristen, it's a place that when something needs to be dug deeper into, you have a right-hand person you can give it to and say, go get lost in those details, because I don't want to. How often does that scenario play out for you guys? One where, Eric, maybe you need something simplified, and Kristen, maybe you need something looked in deeper.
It's literally every day. So I think the best part of working with my husband is that we are so different, and we balance each other so well. So as you said, he's the mastery. He wants to read every little detail. He wants to know it. He wants to grasp. He wants to think about it, then go think about it some more, then go think about it again. I am the get things done, get them done yesterday, do it in the simplest way. How can we convey this message in the simplest and purest form? And so it's really been wonderful. And I think that's why we were ultimately attracted to each other in the first place, because if I married someone else that was like me, it would just be like this all the time. And it would be pure chaos. But Eric is definitely the yin to my yang. So he'll say something and sometimes it'll be like very long and not really answering the question. Actually, another podcast about married couples together, and I was like, this is the answer that you were asking. But and same with me. Sometimes he's like, okay, honey, you didn't look into this at all with some vendors that, just because I connect with them as people and I don't look at their website, and then they don't do a good job for us. So he's helped me to be like, I'm going to do my due diligence and make sure we do this. I am not a spreadsheet person. He loves Excel. He loves QuickBooks. I don't even know how to get into QuickBooks, right? So the good thing is that, we stay in our lane. We respect the strengths and the weaknesses of the other person, and we don't try and force each other to be something that we're not. He's not going to have me type up a spreadsheet with all of our finances. Could I do it? Yes. Would it take me months? Yes. But it would drain the life out of me. And I'm also not going to go and network and, join a group that he feels like is a cult, right? I do all those groups, but I'm not going to make him do that because he doesn't want to stand up and do public speaking. So I never force him to do those things because that's going to take the energy away from him. So once we realize that, we just focus on what we're good at. We respect the other for their strengths. We don't force each other to do something we don't want to do. And that has helped us to grow because we see things from two totally different lenses. And that's what's helped our clients. That's what's helped, our marketing, our sales. And our ultimate vision of what we can bring to the table and what we plan on doing in the future. And I think when you see the two of us interact, whether it's a Connect Esquire meeting, whether it's at one of our conferences, it's just pure magic. But
even a client meeting too.
Yeah, even a client meeting. We did a case together, and the client was like, I can't believe I found both of you, and you're just work together so well. So we work together amazingly in business and in life, and there's no one else that I would want to have this crazy journey that is life with. But it's a beautiful thing, and I adore my husband, and I always say I have a healthy obsession with my husband.
I love that. And you know what? It's great to see you guys. And, I see the way Kristen looks at Eric. I see the way, Eric, you look at Kristen. You could just see the love between you guys. And that is such a cool thing. I've had the pleasure recently of interviewing young couples. I met had another young lady. They started a podcast business, and they help put podcasts together, and they got married very young. I think 19, 20, 21. I think they were still in college, and everybody, and you guys can tell us about this, everybody's like, oh, what are you doing getting married so young? Are you crazy? Go live your life, have fun, travel, do all the things you're not going to be able to do when you get married. And she said to me, Dan, what I thought of is, why would I not want to do all those things with the person I love most in the world? Why would I want to do those things alone and then come back to him? Why not do them together? And it sounds like that's what you guys are doing. And it has the duplicative effect of that you guys are so different that you bring completely different strengths to the practice of law and to your coaching. I am sure there are certain clients that they got to go with Kristen, I'm sure. And then there are certain clients that they're going to be Eric's cup of tea, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm also very versatile, so I'm very direct and to the point, but I am also a people person and a mama bear. And I had a potential client that I met with, and he's like, I need someone who's going to be a fighter, who, is going to just destroy the other side. And I go, look, I have no problem doing that, but it was involving a child. I'm also going to be a mama bear type with your child. I'm like, I'm very versatile and can do both. Eric is just the purely analytical brain, but when I bring, anytime that he's around people, he lights up the room and everyone loves him. My family loves him more than they love me. I mean, my dad tells me that all the time. No, Eric is great. You know, you won the lottery. I'm like, I think he won the lottery too, but it's just me.
Come on, Dad.
So
It's a good thing Kristen isn't hurting for self-confidence, right? Because that could, but she's like, you know what? He won the, you know what? You know yourself that Eric won the lottery. And I bet Eric says the same thing.
I did.
He's one of those, I have to kind of pull out the compliments that his love languages. His love languages is acts of service. So I'll come home and all of the holiday decorations will be done because he knows that I don't mind doing it, but when I see it done, it's even better.
It's beautiful. And it's done very well, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, everything's in the right place.
You're never, I bet you're never going to run out of power. He's going to make sure all the breakers are lined up correctly. He uses the right power cords, all that good stuff. Because you and I, Kristen, we'd probably cause a fire.
Yeah, no, I don't think of those things. I didn't think that that was even an issue. Yeah, everything is placed perfectly, exactly where I like it. So.
That's fantastic. You brought up your dad, and that's something I wanted to explore. So we named this episode. We were looking at it. We talked about marriage across faiths, blending beliefs and strengthening love. We've already talked about what a great couple you are and what great love you have for each other and respect and how you use each other's strengths. But you're also an interfaith marriage. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the challenges that has brought to your life, and how has it strengthened each other's faiths, and as you blend your families. How is your dad, Kristen, with Eric being of a different faith?
So we are very, very, very Catholic. I grew up every single weekend, no matter where we were. If we were out of the country, we went to church every single weekend. I went to Catholic school my whole life until I went to college. So it was all, my family always thought I was going to marry someone Catholic or at least Christian. And when they met Eric, they just didn't care. But I think they would have been upset if I fully converted to give up, everything that I grew up with in my Catholicism. But he loves Eric, and we celebrate Hanukkah together. My family will join his family this year. I went to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and got to see the beauty of Judaism, and you know what, we make it work. So it started off with my dad, and I was a little concerned, but we actually got married in a Catholic church, and we were married by a rabbi and a priest. So we found a beautiful way to blend the two religions. And it was, and I mean, I obviously am a little biased, but it was the most beautiful ceremony that I've ever been to. It was just done so well. So that was my favorite part of our wedding, was actually our interfaith ceremony.
I love that. What about on your side, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, that set the tone, honestly, for our marriage. It was really cool to be married by a priest and a rabbi. I'm sure there's a joke there somewhere.
A priest, a rabbi, and two lawyers going to a church.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So,
actually 4, because my dad and brother are lawyers too.
Yeah. And so we're really blessed, and it was a beautiful ceremony. It really truly was. And it is beautiful that we get to share each other's traditions, our family traditions. You did come to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and that was really cool for you to see.
Yeah, loved it.
A completely different perspective. I know that was one of the first times that you probably have seen a service like that, and a lot of Hebrew. It's like
and the book's the other way. You have to open it.
So it's a beautiful mix between both of our religions. So and it's cool because we get to learn from each other, and I love learning. So me as a mastery, I love learning. So
well, and his mom never, to answer the question, his mom never cared because she's married to a Christian.
Oh, yeah, that's
so she had no leg to stand on to be upset. I mean, I think obviously your mom probably would have preferred if you married someone that was Jewish, if you happened to fall in love with someone that was Jewish. But thankfully, we both have wonderful relationships with our respective in-laws, and that it really never became an issue. They just loved us for us.
And your grandma said, "Love is love."
Oh, actually, funny story. So my grandma, may she rest in peace, she went to church every single day. And Eric was born in the same city that she was. So when I was explaining to her, and this was 2 months into our relationship, dating, just meeting the extended family for the first time. Keep that in mind. So,
and I'm adopted, by the way.
Yeah,
so that's
so Eric was adopted
from Colombia.
Yeah, he was adopted by a white Jewish family that lived in Connecticut. So they don't speak Spanish, obviously. You know, there's really no Colombian ties. So when she found out that he was from the city, she's just like, "Oh my God, you're Colombian. You know, you're from my city. Like, that's amazing. You're Catholic." And I'm like, Grandma, his dad's Christian and he's Jewish. She's like, "What? He's not Jewish. He's Catholic." So she literally told him he wasn't Jewish. He's Catholic. And so we just never brought it up again. And
it was the first time I met her.
Yeah. And then she also asked us when we're getting married and if I was going to have 8 kids like she did. So he was brought in very, very hot. And then my uncle said, "Welcome to the family." I mean, I think I was sweating. I'm like, this guy's going to run away, this crazy family.
This is, I mean, that's what Hispanic families are like, you know, Eric, and you were adopted, so you didn't get to experience that, but now you have it with Kristen's family, right?
Yes, I do. Yes,
They're right in your face. They're going to tell you what they think. And I remember when I met my wife and she met my family, and you know, my mom comes from a huge family, 22 brothers and sisters. So when there were family parties, there were, you know, hundreds of cousins. You know, when you think take 22 Catholics and then they all have kids. So we and I remember one of the things Monica would say is, "Why are they mad?" Because she thought they were yelling at each other. She didn't understand the Spanish, but that's just how we talk, right?
My dad is constantly screaming, and I'll be in his office and I will hear the screams, and I actually don't even notice them anymore. And I'm just like, "Oh my God, he's so loud." And that's just him talking to his clients calmly, and it's screaming.
That is. Hey, tell me about that is such a good story. And I love the interfaith union that you have and how you bring it together, because at the end of the day, right, we share the Old Testament, so you've got that's a lot of history that we have together. And then there's the principles are very similar, and at the end, you know, as you mentioned, Eric, there's a lot of Hebrew. And I was laughing at someone who is very traditional Catholic, and they say they go to the Latin Mass. They're the traditional Latin Mass. And someone else said, "Well, we're so traditional, we only go to the Hebrew Mass," you know? And so they've got to have it in the original language. But it's beautiful that number one, you have a love of God. You bring that into your work in giving back to the community. And you're also giving back to your legal community through your various efforts in coaching. And then your alumni association. That is the longest alumni association name I've ever read, Kristen. But that shows your contribution.
It's definitely a tongue twister.
Great stuff. Tell me about that poster. I can't read it on my screen really clearly, but tell me what it says.
Yeah, it says dreams weigh more than excuses.
Oh, I love that.
So there's a butterfly on this side and there's the elephant on that side. So this is our podcast studio. So it's just one of these iconic pictures, just very motivational, because we're entrepreneurs. We love being entrepreneurs. We love to be able to share that. And dreams weigh more than excuses, 100%.
I love that. That is such a cool. So dreams way more than excuses. Now, last time we talked, you were just getting started. Did we start the podcast? How's that going?
This is the second time we've been in it together.
Yes.
So unfortunately, it looks great, but we just haven't had the time to actually dedicate to the podcast. So
a lot has changed over
since the last time we saw you.
Yeah, since the last time that we saw you. So a lot has changed. But again, our vision and our goals and our dreams are always aligned, and they've just changed since we've last seen you. So we actually have another office that's on the market right now. We're hoping that it gets sold soon. And
anyone wants to move to Florida, buy a beautiful office.
It's a single family house that was converted to a residential office. Love it. I'm gonna miss it, but going back and forth was just not really feasible. And we just kind of, again, looked at all of our goals and what we wanted to accomplish going into 2026. And we elected to, get rid of one of those so that we can actually spend more time in the podcast studio, because we should be doing this on a more frequent basis. We have a lot of great content to do together through the law firm, through Connect Esquire, and then through some of the other efforts that we have, and as well as the title company. So we would love to be able to utilize the space more. This is why we built it out. And unfortunately, just life has just kind of happened, and it's okay.
No more excuses.
Yeah, but still, the dreams are still there, and we still share the same dreams and goals together. So
Yeah, you just because the dreams are heavier than the excuses doesn't mean you have time for them, right? So you've still got to prioritize accordingly. And I think if anybody's doing a great job of prioritizing the important things, getting the right things done so that you can eventually launch a successful podcast. I have no doubt you guys are going to put out amazing content. In the pre-show, I was talking about two things. Number one, what a great looking studio. So kudos on having a great looking studio that you're going to put some great content out on. And then secondly, what a good looking couple you guys are. Again, you're going to help the Lead Different podcast just by having your beautiful faces on our podcast, but you also bring depth, and that is, a winning plus winning plus winning. It's a triple win combination. So what are you guys excited about as you finish 2025 and head into 2026?
So I'm excited about just starting the year strong and starting the year fresh. We have something in the works, a new company that we're very excited about. And Eric is really leading the forefront on this. And it's something that's going to be life-changing for the customers and life-changing for us. So that I could essentially retire if it goes the way that we planned. So I'm super excited about that. But really, this year we had a lot of struggles with finding the right people. And I'm going to be very intentional and focused on bringing the A team of people that we want to be our right-hand men and women by our side. Then, it's been a lot of learning throughout this year, but this is our house. This is our safe space. We've worked so hard to be where we are today. So I'm really excited and putting it out into the universe to bring some good people in for 2026. I actually just totally burnt the house down. And right now on the criminal defense side, it's just me and Eric's mother that's helping me out. So we're looking forward to bringing some fresh blood, people that genuinely care about the work that we do, because it is heavy work that we do with dealing with our criminal cases, both on the defense as well as the victim side. So looking forward to that, and being able to see Eric, who he's focusing now on something that he's really, really passionate about, and seeing him in his element is always a beautiful thing. And me being able to support him to do that, to free up his time so he doesn't have to be in the nitty gritty on the legal side like he likes to be, all the details and the mastery. So I'm looking forward to us. It's going to be the start of something really big.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the best. As you look back, one of the things I'm doing tonight, actually, I am having a dinner. I love having dinner. We had a great dinner in Miami. I remember when I came to visit you guys. So I'm inviting, what ends up happening a lot with the YOS. I will give a CEO or a founder of the YOS, and it's part of their self-awareness before we start working. And a lot of times they'll tell me, "Hey, Dan, can you do this for my wife?" So tonight I'm doing a dinner with CEOs and their spouses, husbands or wives, and and we're just going to have dinner. We're going to go through a discovery session with them. They're going to go over their results. We're going to do some activities where they get to know each other a little bit better. And I think it's really cool. You guys are the perfect couple for me to be talking to this morning as we head into that dinner, because you really are sharing with us the benefits of knowing each other's operating systems, and how that's helped you guys You literally mention it almost in every sentence. Oh, I'm doing this part because he's not going to be good at that, and he's doing this part because it's not something that I would ever want to do. And that isn't that truly the vision that we all would want, is as you're putting together that A team for 2026, you want everybody working in their zone of genius and loving it, right? I believe and you guys tell me, your coaches also, I believe that if we spend about 80% of our time in our zone of genius, we're going to live really happy lives. I want to spend as little time as possible, but there's things that I have to do. I don't like doing taxes, but I have to. There's things that we have to do. Let's keep those to about 20%. But if I can spend 80% of my day doing things that I love to do, which is connecting with amazing people like yourselves, having conversations, meaningful conversations with my clients, helping them elevate their business and their leadership, I'm going to be a happier person for home and at work. We have a 14-year-old daughter, so dealing with a teenager is a challenge in and of itself. So the better I can be coming home from that and being in a good place, the better it is for our family also. So wish us luck with that dinner tonight. It's my first time doing it, but I had enough of them asking, "Can you do this for my spouse?" And I said, "You know what? Let's have a nice dinner. Let's bring everybody together. I'll educate, but then we'll also have some fun." And that's going to start at 6:00 tonight. We're going to go to 8:30. So 2.5 hours, probably fly by. I know when we had dinner, we probably talked for 2.5 hours and we still hadn't finished dessert. So
I think it was like 4 hours. We were there.
I think we shut down the restaurant.
Yeah, we shut down the place.
Yeah, this dinner of yours might go a little bit longer than that. So
I would account for more time.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to let the teenager know she's on her own for dinner. No, she is already. 14 years old, they're pretty much self-sufficient. We're just lucky we get to see her every once in a while. What about you guys? I know this is a question that I know everybody's asking. When are Eric and Kristen Jackwin going to make a bunch of little Jackwins? And you mentioned possibly retiring, Kristen. So I think that this is all in the works, right? So no pressure, Eric.
Well, right now I'm still I'm very busy right now. And when I come home, I am exhausted. There's not much to give. So right now is not the best time. It's something that I know we will eventually do. And I'm certainly not getting any younger, but yes, I'd love to be in that position where I'm not going into court every day and, driving back and forth and doing the legal writing. And so when I can have someone to replace me, or if you get this new idea up and running and it's really taking off, then I can take a step back, because I think it goes to what you just said, right? You want to make sure that you're not doing everything and feeling overwhelmed, and you have enough to give. And right now, because of the employee situation, I'm doing pretty much everything other than the admin side of the law firm, which thankfully Eric handles, because that I wouldn't even have a law firm. So I would say probably within the next few years there'll be a little Jackwin announcement. But
that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I know there's no perfect time, obviously, but I do like to time things the right way. So and we have a small house, so we're looking to sell the office so that we can buy a bigger place, because Mama can barely fit her clothes, so I can't imagine baby and clothes.
And then they outgrow their clothes every couple of months. And heck, when they're babies, it's every few weeks they're outgrowing their clothes. So yeah, you've got to buy a lot of clothes. That's interesting. Eric, you'll love this. I found a comedian online. She's a Catholic comedian, and one of the things she talked about, she was an only child. Her husband was an only child, and their parents were. Her parents were atheists. I think he was Christian, but they decided together to come up with their religion. They became Catholic, and one of the things she jokes about is that their parents were just so glad that they married into a religion where they're going to breed recklessly and have lots of kids, and so they have 6 kids. The Catholics are famous for having large families, and so we'll just keep you in our prayers, and that discernment goes well. We know that as I mentioned, I give you guys a hard time in the pre-show, because we want, when you have 2 amazing people like Eric and Kristen who are both intelligent, good looking, successful, driven, have good values, give back to their community. Why wouldn't we want little versions of them that you will raise to be community minded and smart, and will go out and make a difference in their community? So we'll pray for you guys as you make that decision, as you are in this beautiful business that you've built together. What would you say, guys? There's a lot of, I know, so my audience consists of coaches, consultants, and CEOs and founders. What advice do you guys have to another couple that is looking, whether they're lawyers, doctors, accountants, looking at going into business together, where they have the same profession and they're building a practice? What are some of the keys to success that you guys have seen work for you guys, and what are some gotchas that you better avoid?
So I would say exactly what I spoke about earlier. Make sure that you focus on your strengths and don't force your partner to try and be the same way that you are. Honor their strengths, recognize their weaknesses, and help to supplement that. And always remember that you're a team. Your marriage comes first. If there comes a point where the business is negatively affecting your marriage, it's not worth it. Eric and I always remember that we are a team. We love each other, and that this is all about our vision and growing to help us and to help our beautiful family. So it's not about who, oh, are you right? Are you wrong? No, because we both know I'm always right anyway. So, but it's about, honoring your partner for who they are, not forcing them to do anything that they don't want to do and that is not going to give them energy. And let's say that you both don't like doing the same thing, then that's when you outsource it and find a person that does enjoy that and that gives them energy. But always remember that it's about you as a couple and your marriage first, and never forgetting why you got into business together in the first place.
And when it comes to the business stuff, separate the business from the marriage. And that's fairly easy to do we just read together a lot. We read a lot of books together. And it's funny because we do have different views and perspectives. So when we're reading something, it's like I have a certain view on something, and then you read the same excerpt or chapter and you have a completely different view. But it's great because we get to work together on that particular subject or topic. So that's great when it comes to that. I would say, reading has been one of the best things that is life-changing, honestly. Yeah. Take the time to read. We typically don't read, especially after professional school, whether you're, lawyer, or just, graduate school. The last thing you want to do is pick up another book, and, you're not studying for another exam, but you're just maintaining reading for life. And that's been really helpful to us because we've been able to, share different perspectives. We don't
mastermind constantly.
Yeah, we mastermind constantly, and one of the things is from the 4 agreements is not taking things personally. This is a business. When we are here, this is a business. So whether it's a decision that, was unilaterally made by somebody hiring a vendor, or by something of us mutually doing it together, just remembering like, hey, this is just a business. It was a business decision, and let's do our own analysis. Hey, did that make sense? Was that financially responsible? Or was that something that we shouldn't have done or wasted our time and money on? And it's really helpful because it's not a combative thing at all, because that's look, if it's wasting a couple of bucks, at the end of the day, it's not going to be a big
more
thing.
than a couple, but I also make a couple bucks. So
yeah. So I'm like, as entrepreneurs, we can always create more. We live a very abundant lifestyle because we know that we can always, make more money. We can make better decisions, and we just learn from them. Failing fast is great because we won't be making those same terrible decisions ever again.
Well, I like what you said. I mean, you separate business is business and personal is personal. And I think understanding that when it gets in the way, you have that honest conversation. So that open communication is so important, right? At some point, if you're saying, hey, look, that business decision is actually impacting us personally. And so we need to have that conversation, and let's keep it on the business side. If we can't, then maybe it's time that we don't do business together, right? But again, it all comes down to that great communication that I know you guys have. What about and you've given us a couple. What's the number one thing to watch out for when you're working together?
The number one thing to watch out for, I would say, is something that I'm guilty of, is just wasting time, right? I'll go run into his office and be like, hey, honey, and and check in and kind of bother him and distract him because I love him so much and I want to see him and he's on the other side of my office. So I know I'm a big distraction to him and I know it annoys him. He's getting a little nervous right now. So just making sure, if someone's in their zone, respecting their boundaries, just like any other employee, any other partner would. You're not just coming in and barging in just because it's your spouse. So remembering that it is still a business. But I'm probably gonna do that later today. It's just I'm bad at that, but it makes me so happy every time I go in and see him. So yeah, just making sure that you're not the distraction to your partner when they're trying to work and that it's leading to them wasting time, you wasting time. But I do always check in and make sure he eats something because otherwise he'll just go all day without eating.
Yeah, probably.
You can't help but take care of him, right?
Yeah, that's just the mama bear side of me for sure.
That's fantastic. How about you, Eric?
For me, it's always making sure that you're looking to be able to support your significant other. So if I'm not able to support her in a way that's helping her to be her best,
right?
But that's personally and professionally too. That works in both settings. So if I see that she's struggling and I'm not there to be able to support her, well then we have to look at something there because going back to your 80-20 per thing where you'd rather spending most of your time on the 80% that lights you up and fires you. That's exactly what we want for each other. So if you're not doing that and you're seeing that your time value is a lot different than that, and it's maybe like 60-40 or even 70-20, 70-30, I'm sorry. And if it's the opposite, then that's, clearly then you're not supporting one another. And that'll be a definite red flag because you should be living your best life inside of the workforce, inside of the office, as well as at home.
I love this. Go ahead.
Eric is someone that he sees a problem and he wants to get to that solution. So I've had issues with employees this year, and I, eventually just had to make the decision to get rid of my last assistant, knowing I didn't have anyone to replace her. Now he's working on building me an AI bot, and to all of the issues we had with her, he's building that out right now. I know you haven't had. We've been busy. We've been pulled a million different ways. But that's something that I love about him so much is that if there is an issue, whether it's, I told him before, we had a cash flow issue. So he's like, let me create an idea where we have continuous cash flow. Because I don't know if you don't know because you're not a lawyer, but it's a little expensive running a law firm.
Oh, so, sure.
He will find a solution no matter what I say. Then that just triggers this just amazingness that just he spews forward with, whether it's an idea for a new business or he's building a bot and he's coding, something that when I look at it, my eyes glaze over and I can't even, I wouldn't even know what to prompt it to figure that out. But that's just the kind of person he is. So I think that's the most important thing is that if your partner is voicing, and it's hard to do, it's hard to sometimes to talk about the issues that you're facing, but if they're voicing an issue, be a problem solver, not the cause of their problems. So how can you help support them and how can you help solve their problems and do it together in a way that benefits you as a couple and your business?
So, I mean, with dreams way more than excuses,
right?
Another slogan that I like to always remind myself is that excuses net zero results. So, that's a fact. Excuses net zero results.
Yeah. Same with complaining. Something I'm working on is complaining less. But
I love that. You guys, listen. This has been, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. This is so great to just hear back and to share your story. I know I cannot wait to air this episode, and we'll get the the word out to as many of our followers as possible. I am working with a couple of law firms. I am working with a wealth management firm. So I know that they're going to want to see this. And one of the wealth managers that I'm working with, they've been partners, not married to each other, for 25 years. So it's almost like a marriage, and they talk a lot the way you guys do. I love the way you guys have separated the personal from the professional, the way you're able to be so honest with each other and understand the self-deprecating. And Kristen knows that she's bothering Eric, right? And look, and probably Eric knows that he probably drives her crazy when her eyes start glazing over. But the fact is, you guys know this about each other, and you use it to your advantage. You're taking advantage of his make sense, his problem solving ability, which he absolutely probably loves doing for you. And there's appreciation for it. So much gold in this episode. I want to make sure and let the audience know, if you saw something in this episode that you like, make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Our channel is growing so fast. I know this is going to be a big help to the channel, having Kristen and Eric on. Give us your comments, subscribe, share, and then let me close with this. Eric and Kristen, where do people get a hold of Jackwin Legal, or if they want to be part of Connect Esquire? What's the best place? What's the best website? How do we find you?
They can go to Jackwin Legal, right? JackwinLegal.com or ConnectEsquire.com. And if you're interested in applying for Connect Esquire, the application is right on the website. And then our number for Jackwin Legal is 954-440-3918. You can always call us, or you can email me at Kristen@JackwinLegal.com for any questions, any legal concern. And even if we can't help you, we're happy to put you in contact with the right person that ultimately can help you.
Fantastic. So we're going to end on that note. This has been an incredible interview, guys. Thank you so much for being on. I look forward to continuing to stay in touch with you guys. I'm going to have you back, Eric, when you launch this new venture that we've talked about, but we can't talk about fully just yet. But I would love to have you guys both back on and talk about that and share that with our audience. What do you say we end the show on that note?
Sounds good.
Why not?
Thank you so much. Hey, Kristen, remembered. Thank you so much. Guys, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being on the Lead Different podcast. And guys, we'll see you guys next week on another episode of the Lead Different podcast. Have a great day.
Thanks for having us,
Thank
Dan.
you.
This is Lead Different.
Subscribe now. Discover a new era of leadership. Lead different because great leaders change the world.